I've been super excited to release this one, but in this video, I'm going to be going over how Jeremy Lee Minor is running a $24 million coaching program, and I'm going to be going over how he attracts his audience, how he educates his audience through his educator funnel, and last but not least, how he's able to convert his audience to make over $24 million every single year with his sales coaching. Going straight into the attract phase, his brand is heavily revolved around quietly outselling your competition. This is, I guess, motto he uses in his content, in his sales assets, his VSL, his landing page, everywhere, just to kind of resonate with his brand a lot more. And he's widely recognized for the fact that he was able to make $2.9 million in a year as a sales rep. Now, this isn't generated revenue for the company. This is take-home commissions for himself. $2.9 million in a year. That is a very, very amazing accolade. Someone who is coming to Jeremy Lee Minor's page, seeing him speak about that, they're going to be like, wow, that's very hard to achieve within the industry. And the fact that he has been able to achieve that clearly shows that this guy is competent. He's also has an incredible tonality when selling. And this is something he always touches on in his content, that his tonality is very, very great. Even if you watch any of his podcasts, it's very easy to listen to him because he draws you in with his tonality. This is something he has studied. This is something he has mastered, and he's wildly recognized for that. He's also recognized for training over 600,000 sales reps alone on their sales and improving their closing rates, and also not least just giving out sales advice online. You've probably seen one of his videos before, whether that is on YouTube, whether that is on TikTok, or whether that is on Instagram. Now, his ideal client avatar. This is something that I always touch on. This is the first thing we do when I start working with my clients. By the way, if you don't know who I am a fractional CMO in coaching businesses, and I basically help coaches scale to multiple six-figure run rates just through implementing proven systems, and even systems that I'm about to break down in this video today. So if you want my help and you are a coach who's struggling, I have a link in the description where you can book in for a free business audio call with me. But other than that, back to the video. Ideal client avatar, this is the first thing that I touch on when it comes to working with my clients. And the only reason I do is because this is the foundation. If you understand your ideal client avatar's current state and their dream state, you are now able to create content that resonates with your audience. You're now able to create a VSL, the copyright and the landing page, so it actually makes sense to them. You're speaking their language, and that's super important. But his ideal client avatar right now is probably a sales rep that's struggling to close well. They're probably struggling to handle objections on sales calls. They probably jump into the sale way too quickly and end up losing that deal, or they're making below what they believe they deserve. Okay, maybe not what they deserve, but what they believe they deserve. They're probably working endlessly but still underperforming, and they probably want to be financially free with sales. Now, this is their current state, but now through watching Jeremy Lee Minor and the things that he teaches in his content, their dream state becomes this. They are the best sales rep in the team. Their closing rate is incredible. They are making more than they thought was possible. In their dream state, they're working one-to-one with Jeremy to further improve their sales, and they are most often than not financially free with sales itself. And the way this is communicated is when they watch Jeremy's content and he speaks about the people he has coached up and the people in his team, it makes you think of yourself in that position as well. And that's exactly how that is communicated over. However, if we go into the educate phase, or in other words, this is how he garners his traffic, but he doesn't just garner traffic or attention, he also converts it through educating them, which I'm about to get into. So he's on 4 different platforms, I guess, which is Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Meta, or Facebook, whatever you want to call it. But essentially on Instagram is probably where you have seen him the most, considering he's probably the biggest on this platform out of them all. And he's got 1.1 million followers, which is a very big account. He's got a few story highlights right here. So in his bio, it says salespeople/companies come to us to master selling, largest B2C and third largest B2B sales training corporation in the world, quietly outsell your competition. Again, this is something I mentioned earlier, right? And then he has a link to his black book. Now, if we look at his story highlights, he's got family, so this is to resonate with the audience. The effect this has is when people watch this, they're like, all right, this guy has his stuff together. He prioritizes family. This is the things I value in my life. And they resonate. They see themselves in his content as well. This is the black book. This is the main thing he's selling, which I'll get into later. The 7th level headquarters, which is his company. That's called 7th level. He has sales tips. So this is just value. Podcast, which is more value. And last but not least, testimonials, which is credibility. Why do we need credibility? Well, in order for someone to be able to buy from you, they need to know, they need to like you, and they need to trust you, right? So this gets everything. I mean, family, get someone to like you, right? Get to know you. They get to know you through all of these stories and even the daily stories that he posts. And then they get to trust you for your testimonials. Now, if we look at his page, he's got quite a few just normal posts, and for the most part, it is just Instagram Reels. And if we really do break down his Instagram Reels, it really comes down to 5 different or 6 different types of content. He has the coaching / talking head, which as you see garnered a lot of attention, 4.6 million views. He has more like whiteboard explaining type of videos, and I really like these videos because I think they're very, very informative and people are able to really learn from them. Then we have podcast clips, which is, I think, is very good for people to allow themselves to know you better and like you more, only because it's you speaking your mind and things that you believe in a podcast, right? Because it's raw footage. And then we have mastermind clips. So this is more giving, like, I guess, social proof, right? I'm gonna put SP for social proof, because if you are able to host a mastermind, clearly you are on some level of authority or expertise. If people are coming to your mastermind, they're paying you thousands of dollars to attend to see you live. And there's obviously giving value here. He's probably saying like, sell me this pen or something along those lines. And then also he's got talking head. So this is just simple, him sitting in front of the camera and speaking, giving away value, whether that is how to handle objection. So this objection is easy and then gives value. If you're a coach, I recommend just starting off with this. This is probably the best thing you can do. If you hop on podcast clips are amazing. And also I really do like these types of videos right here, because this one's very, very informative, especially if you're like a business coach or maybe a therapist or something like that. You can explain everything on a whiteboard a lot better. And then this, where you're kind of speaking to someone on the other side of that screen, but you're facing away from the camera. So it seems like, you know, you're speaking not to the camera, but speaking to them. Whereas on this video, he's speaking directly to the camera. And last but not least, he has collaborations, which is super, super cool. As you see, he has some collaboration reels with a couple other credible people in the space. We have Shelby Sapp, Matt Gottesman, we have Russell Brunson, we have Brad Lee, and he's done podcasts with these people, which is most probably going to be in his story highlights right here. But also he has been able to clip this up just the same way he has done this right here. And he's been able to collab with them, tag them in his Instagram Reels, and therefore they reposted it, which gave him more attention, gave him more recognition, which is a super smart strategy if you ask me. On his TikTok, it's practically the same thing. The content doesn't switch. As you see the Shelby Sapp right here. You see one of his employees, one of his best sales reps right here. So all in all, it's just practically the same type of content. Not that much going on. Get the NEPQ or the NEPQ Black Book. Follow me on IG, and then he has linked his Black Book link, which we're going to get into just a little later. 249, almost 250,000 followers. And we're going to get into the funnel here because I really like the way he's positioned his funnel, and I don't see a lot of people doing this. Maybe this is something you could implement as a coach yourself, but stay tuned to the end of the video. If we go into the long term, the reason I have short term and long term is because with short term, Instagram, TikTok, or X, they don't really provide a solid foundation. It's very up and down, up and down, up and down with views and leads. As YouTube is more of a stable foundation that you can rely on to have more longevity in your coaching business. So when I work with clients, I really put my attention towards YouTube because that's what books us the most qualified calls. And if you are a coach and you're struggling to book qualified calls, YouTube is something you need to get onto, and you really need to understand this methodology that I'm about to get into right now. On his YouTube, it's a fairly large channel, 338,000 subscribers, and as you see, he posts many different types of videos. The type of videos they post really bury down to this methodology, which is top of the funnel videos, we have middle of the funnel videos, and we have bottom of the funnel videos. Now, top of the funnel is more towards getting eyeballs, right? It gathers more attention. It gets people to know him more and like him more. And last but not least, the viewer leaves the video feeling more motivated than before. The reason this is so important is because if someone doesn't feel better from watching your content, the chances of them watching even more of your content is very unlikely. So it's very, very important. And as you see, the top of the funnel, considering it's more aimed for eyeballs, tends to get a lot more views, right? This is from 1 year ago. It's got 500,000 or 561,000 views on his YouTube channel, which is amazing, right? That's a very, very successful video. Now, if we look at the middle of the funnel content, which is the educational type of content, the whole point of this is it speaks more about the specifics. As you see, this one's 46 years of sales knowledge in 76 minutes, whereas this one is the exact script that made me $3 million in 12 months. Very, very different language. This is a lot more specific. Why? Because now this is going to really position him as the authority, the expert. This is him now selling his own information, his own methods, his own ideology behind things, right? This is more standardized of what he has learned in general. This is more geared towards what he has learned and kind of selling his coaching and positioning him as the authority. Now, also he sells the audience on his own ways, as I just said, sells him on his own mechanism. And last but not least, the viewer doesn't leave the video feeling more motivated, but now they leave the video feeling like they've really, really learned something. And as you see, clearly really showed in the views, 31,000 views overall from this video, and I can guarantee you that generated at least 10, 20, 50 to $100,000, right, depending on how much they're selling for. And last but not least, we have the bottom of the funnel content. Now, you don't need to post a lot of this content, but the whole point of it is for it to convert. This content converts, okay? It shows off a lot of social proof. It proves that what is actually possible with sales, and last but not least, it's just aimed for heavy nurture. These are the type of videos that are being sent as sales assets by the setters or the dialers, whoever's dialing up the prospect, and these are also used on like the landing pages as social proof and credibility. And this video is, I gave my top sales rep my car. Now, you'd think this is like a vlog of the sales rep mucking around with his car for the next 2 to 3 days. No, it's literally a podcast clip of him and his top sales rep on how the sales rep got to where he was. And the reason for that is because now when people want to work with Jeremy, they have a very good example of someone who is inside of Jeremy's team who really performs very, very well and makes a lot of money, and they could be that next person to do that as well. Now, he also puts ads. Now, I put fuel on the fire, is what I basically call it. I would never recommend having ads as the foundation of your business. It definitely can be a very, very good start depending on what niche you're in, but it should never be the main foundation or the backbone of your coaching business, because ad accounts can get banned for no reason sometimes, or even the policies can be quite strict for the niche that you're in, and you need to be really, really careful. And if you're doing 20, 30K a month, the ad account gets banned, bada bing, bada boom, you're only making about 2 to 5K a month, and I don't really want that for you. So YouTube is going to be a long-term play. Instagram and TikTok's probably how you're going to get the leads up fastest, and then Meta or ads in general is how you're going to get leads very quickly, and also this is how you're going to scale, right? So we already have the fire, we just need to put more fuel on the fire, and that's exactly what Jeremy's doing. He's currently running about 120 ads, which is a lot. It clearly shows that his ads ordered from like last year are working very, very well, and I'm about to get into in just a second. So he's running 120 different types of ads, but there's 2 different funnels from these ads. So he has one which is posted on, or has been running since the 3rd of March 2025. Right now it's the 7th of September, meaning that he's been running these ads for 6 months now. And if he's running them for 6 months, clearly they're very, very successful. Now, let's take a look at the copy. Outsell everyone else on the sales floor in 30 days with the black book of questions, right? This drives curiosity in 30 days, right? This gives a time frame. Everybody likes a time frame. What's the answer to hitting your commission goals as a sales professional? Hint, the answer is not in finding a new closing line. So they're like, right, so what is the answer? If it's not this, then what is? And then of course that video explains it. And then it'll lead you on to the button, which is the NepQ Black Book Ascension Funnel. And I'll let you know exactly what that is in just a second. And he also runs a different type of ad, which he's been running since the 6th of September 2025, which is literally 22 hours. But all in all, this is what the copy says. We are hosting a free 5-day challenge to help you finish 2025 with a new personal record in take-home commissions. So we're coming to the last quarter of 2025. He's targeting those type of people that want to really break their personal records. September 16th to 20th, 2025, 6 p.m. ET, 3 p.m. PT, live on Zoom if you want to. And then he lists all the features, okay? Or lists all the benefits that they're going to get from what their outcome is going to look like after. And boost your close rate in just 5 days free, and then learn more. And it takes them to a webinar page, which we'll just get into in just a second. So now we're onto the convert page. Okay. Now, if you come from this ad right here, which was posted, what has been running since the 3rd of March, which is the Black Book of Questions, this is the page that you would get taken to. You've probably seen this in my previous videos. If you're new here, this is the kind of diagram that I show for a generic sales funnel that people use, which is the opt-in page, the VSL page, people would call it, the application page or the order form page, and then a confirmation page, okay? But what Jeremy has right here is all of these pages in one. He has an opt-in page, a video page, and an order form page all in one. Let me show you, okay? So if you go into the page right here, got his company logo along the top, exclusive to America, which of course provides exclusivity. And then he also says, need help, email me here. And you can see the use of language of me, not us. The people who are behind running his funnels are very, very smart, because they're saying email me, okay? You're not just emailing his whole team, you're emailing him directly. Now, of course, it's not going to be him, but the different use of language definitely shows a lot. Now, of course, here we have a VSL, or in other words, a video sales letter. We have an opt-in where they're collecting their email address and phone number. They're not collecting that name. Now, why is that? Probably because they're trying to make it as easy as possible. And as you see, the CTA button is not get access now or buy now. It's send my book, free shipping right to your door. It's telling them exactly what they want. It's playing to their self-interests. And also not least, you have a 30-day money back guarantee, which is the risk reversal right here. Because let's be fair, the reason a lot of you coaches who are watching this don't amount to as many sales as you'd like to is because you have a problem with giving your prospect enough safety to go ahead of you. If they knew they were guaranteed $10,000 or a 2x ROI on their investment, they would invest it. And that really comes down to credibility, that comes down to marketing, that comes down to the content that you're posting. So risk reversals definitely help, and just kind of defeating that safety aspect right there. Now, trusted by Fortune 500, there are some, I don't know why that's so weird, the words here, but essentially this is just giving credibility. ClickFunnels, Airwallex, Google Ads, stuff like that, right? This is just giving credibility to anyone who is reading. Now, what's inside the NepQ Black Book of Questions? And then it breaks down all of the features. NepQ sales questions for every stage, easily customized NepQ questions for your exact industry, real-world script examples, so on and so forth. I'm not going to read the whole thing. Feel free to pause and have a read. And then we get down into, here's a breakdown of the NepQ Black Book of Questions. And then it just gives you more info, right? Full explanations, in-depth breakdown, psychological reasons, whether you sell B2C, B2B, D2D, or B2G, right? Fill in the blanks, comprehensive instructions. It just gives you all of the features or information that you would need to make a decision on this. If you're still on the brink of buying this and you still haven't bought it, they hit you with a value stack. Now, bonus 1, the NepQ 3-day accelerator. Bonus 2, personalized NepQ implementation call. Bonus 3, NepQ ditch the pitch workshop. Bonus 4, the NepQ Black Book of diffusing objections. And bonus 5, the NepQ call vault. And here is where they kind of push you to really take that risk. Okay, now they're hitting you with a 30-day guarantee again, so it's the risk reversal with the CTA, and instantly unlock 5 close rate boosting bonuses. So they're hitting you 5 bonuses. If you are creating a sales page, I highly recommend going for above 3 bonuses. Usually 4 to 5 is the sweet spot, and they've done it very, very well here. I'm not going to read the whole copy, but that copy is amazing. Whoever's doing that copywriting, honestly, hats off to you. You are amazing, man. And this page is a lot longer than that, but I've just cut it off to what I believe are the most important parts and what are the most needle moving parts for at least someone who is watching this video right here. So to this page right here, you get funneled from all the YouTube videos, you get funneled from all these TikToks, or I guess the link in the description, and you get funneled from this link in the bio right here, and probably his Instagram reels as well. But now we also have this webinar funnel, which he has been running since yesterday, and the chances are that he's probably going to switch to this in the next couple of days are very, very high. But this is the funnel right here. So we have the 5-day challenge, which is a webinar funnel. I'll get into what an ascension funnel is in just a minute. But what a webinar funnel is, I've covered this in my YouTube channel before on previous videos, but I really like the way this page is laid out. Now, date September 16th to 20th, 2025, investment free. Now, why does it have that? Well, essentially, he's just kind of defeating the objection of, there's probably going to be another paid program or a training. No, this is completely free. And then right after it says, secure your seat now. Now, I don't know how I feel about the button being in the top right, but honestly, I trust that Jeremy Lee Miner's team know what the hell they're doing, because they are doing exceptionally well. I believe Jeremy Lee Miner is already doing 1 to 2 million a month. I believe it's 2 million a month if he's doing over $24 million a year. And then he has an irresistible offer here again. So he has the date, time, location, and then investment free. Now, the whole point of it being an irresistible offer, or at least an offer people feel stupid saying no to, this is an Alex Hormozi thing, is you have to create an offer that is so good that people feel stupid saying no to. And the fact that he's saying it's free here, it's saying it's free here, right? Register free. People would feel stupid saying no if it's completely free. And then they add the time urgency, which I really, really like, because it's free, but it's running out in the next 9 days. So you need to take action now. And then you get into some really good copy. So why do some sales pros consistently crush their quotas while others struggle? Well, while most sales reps fight for scraps using outdated techniques, our clients are breaking records across every industry and finishing 2025 strong. How? By using our NepQ methodology and frame stacking formula, a revolutionary approach that transforms resistance into revenue, right? You know what this is? This is a unique mechanism. This is the unique selling point. You might actually call this the USP, the unique selling point. This is selling people on their NepQ methodology, because he's saying, why are other people able to completely crush it, but you're not? Well, it's not because of this, it's because of this. And the result? Our clients consistently improve their closing rates, build fuller pipelines, and make their competitors wonder what secret weapon they're using. Now, you're invited to join our exclusive 5-day challenge to unlock these same techniques. Again, he's really pushing on it. This is a live challenge. Yes, challenge, not just another passive webinar series. So they're just kind of defeating that objection of, oh, you're going to try to sell me something. No. This is an actual training. Come ready to implement, practice, and transform your sales approach in time. And then he's giving you reasons as to why you should join this challenge, right? So he's calling out the audience. Are you a direct sales agent, business dev or executive, account executives, sales consultants, territory managers, business owners, solopreneurs? If you're any of these, you need to join this. This is going to be useful to you, okay? Then he goes into the 5-day challenge game plan. So he's giving you a rundown of what's going day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, and day 5. And then he's going to go through the filtering process. So you might see this in VSLs or webinars where people are going to be like, okay, right before you're probably in the situation and now you're going to be here. And this is exactly what he's doing. So before this challenge, you're probably feeling anxious before every sales conversation. You have to pump yourself up before every call, and you hope and pray the deal is going to close. I'm not going to read all of these because I don't want to take up too much time. But after this challenge, you'll be able to take control of the sale within the first 30 seconds. Sales conversions are smooth and frictionless, like having a coffee with a friend. You ask the right questions at the right time with the right tonality, and your prospects close themselves on why they need your help. So he's basically pointing out their current situation, and then he's pointing out their dream situation, which all comes down to something that I covered right at the start of the video, which is all of this, right? Sales reps struggling to close well, struggling to handle objections, right? If we go into this, the chances that he's probably mentioning something along those lines is very, very high, right? You're forced to compete on price, can't handle objections. You hope and pray the deal is going to close. Again, you feel desperate to close the sale, and prospects can spot it in your tone. See what I mean? He knows his audience very, very well. And then he ends off with some social proof and then a guarantee with urgency. So now I'm not guaranteeing you'll get results like these reps. However, what I can promise is that I'll teach you the sales framework, tonality, and strategies that help them achieve these results, so you can experience the effects of NEPQ for yourself. And this is exactly what I'll do during the Crush Your Commissions challenge. Secure your seat, instantly unlock free challenge bonuses. And then the date, the investment is free, and then some urgency right off the bat. Now, one more thing that I like that he did about this is a kind of incentive. And this is something that I've seen a lot of people do in their webinars, and it works very, very well. So I basically skipped a lot of this page, but at the bottom it says, but wait, there's more surprises for you. Plus, when you join and attend live, you can win some cool prizes. Now, day 1, September 16th, you can win the objection handling cheat sheet, right? Day 2, the cold calling crash course. Day 3, feel free to pause and read these. Event ticket, premiere, $997 retail value, and then the grand prize, which is at the end of day 3. So if you stick around for all the 3 days of the master or the webinar, you have a chance of winning the grand prize, which is objection handling cheat sheet, 30-minute one-on-one script review Q&A with Jeremy, event ticket VIP spot, which is labeled at $1,997, Apple iPad Pro $999, and NEPQ Black Book of Questions signed copy by Jeremy. Now note, you must show up to get the details on how to win these prizes. Secure your seat, instantly unlock, and then the same thing again. Now you see how there is incentives to show up to all 3 of these days. Now what happens when you actually go through all of this? When you click on any of these buttons, you'll be taken to this page, which is step 1, enter your information to join the challenge. And you'll enter your first name, your last name, your email address, and your phone number, right? You can pick this as well if you want, but you just secure your seat now. And once you do this, this is what happens. This gets put over to the CRM by the setter or the SDR, and they will call up the prospect. They will conversate with the prospect. They'll qualify or disqualify. If they're qualified, they're probably going to book them in on a call, or they're just going to get them prepped for the webinar. And if not qualified, they'll probably just tell them to sit through the webinar, and they'll send over some sales assets as well. Now, I give a dialer doc for exactly how your dialers should call these people up personally to every single person watching this. So feel free to reach out to me on Instagram. More than happy to share it with you, and you can literally give this to your dialers so they can start booking calls for people who opt in for your offer as well. And then what happens is you get redirected to this page. So instead of a confirmation page, you get redirected to an upsell to a $47 VIP experience. Now again, step 1, step 2, step 3. I really like it when pages do these because they just kind of create a journey for the prospect who's watching the video. And then congratulations, your registration is almost complete. Watch this special message from Jeremy for a chance to accelerate your results during the 5-day challenge. And now he's kind of labeling the person in the VSL. So I watched the VSL, and the whole maybe 1 to 2 minutes of the VSL, he's saying, I know how hard you're working. I know that you are a very good sales rep. And if you are a very good sales rep, I trust that you want the best results in your closing journey. And for that, I have something very, very special for you. So he's kind of labeling them, making them believe that like, yeah, I am this person, before just hitting them right with the pitch. Super, super smart. All right. And also at the top, there's a label that says warning. This opportunity disappears if you leave this page. So right here, essentially, he just upsells you to this $47 product where he kind of breaks down exactly what you get inside of here. And then you can buy it right on this checkout page right here, which I quite like how it's actually built out. Now, I didn't actually buy this myself, but what would happen if you buy it? Well, the person will buy this, then they'll allow 7th level to actually liquidate on their ads. So probably one of these purchases liquidates for each lead that opts into their webinar, which allows them to kind of run ads for free. And then they'll probably get messaged by the setter or the SDR, who will get them upsold to the high ticket because they have financially committed a lot more by also upselling themselves to the $47 product. Now, also, since I submitted my information right here, I got retargeted with a bunch of email and SMS reminders. So I signed up to the webinar and then I got targeted with email and SMS reminders. So this is something that we actually set up within the CRM. But as you see, I got a bunch of emails right here. I literally got like, this is literally my phone within the first 3 minutes of signing, or the first 2 minutes signing up. And the subject line is crush your commissions, 5-day sales challenge confirmation, and then basically a Google Calendar invite for me to confirm on my end. And then I got 3 different emails saying someone sent you a direct message, invitation from an unknown sender, and then the same one that I just showed up here. And now another thing that will happen is there will be a nurturing process. So you'll be sent sales assets right before or leading up to the webinar, which is going to be YouTube content, student testimonials, case studies, or just overall digestible content from Jeremy. And the whole point they do this is for the audience to get to know, like, and trust Jeremy. And aside from KLT, we also have the 7-11 4 which is just different touch points that they will use through their emails, ringing the prospect up and just sending them sales assets, which is the 7-11 4 rule. Now, this is a Google research study that identified that in order for someone to buy from you, they need to watch 7 hours of your content or engage with your content for 7 hours across 11 different touch points on 4 different platforms. So if that's YouTube, that's Instagram, that's TikTok, that's emails, that is getting called up personally, and also being sent maybe some sales assets on WhatsApp, that is like multiple different touch points, and that gets someone ready to be able to buy from Jeremy. And then obviously the webinar happens, and if the webinar goes well, Jeremy collects cash. Now, how does the webinar process actually work? Well, essentially the webinar is in progress, and then he will go through a slide, walking them through his journey and giving them all the value that they need, not teaching them too much, teaching them just about enough to where they need to buy something from him to learn the rest. And then he will always end up by going for a book a call to action, or selling to a mid-ticket offer anywhere from $1,000 to $3,000, even all the way up to $5,000. And if they do buy this, then they will get ascended to the $5,000 to $10,000 product, which is something I spoke about here, right? The ascension funnel. If they buy this NetQ Black Book, the chances that they'll probably get called up after entering their information is very, very high, and then they'll get booked in onto a sales call. Now, the only way for you to sell maybe even $5,000 and above is through a sales call. You can't really control the sale when it's that expensive, because you can't just sell that on a sales page. Very hard to convert people. So, and therefore, you need to conduct sales calls. Now, this is usually how sales calls go. There are 3 different outcomes that are probably going to happen. You're always going to have a no-show, so the person does not show up to the call. And if that is the case, then they'll be followed up with and reinitiated to book another call. If they don't close, they'll be sent more content and value to consume to then be recycled down the line and entered into the CRM. And if they do get closed and then officially become a client, or even if they get sold in the lower ticket offers through the sales calls, they get sold straight onto these prices, which is $5,000 to $10,000, even $15,000 coaching offers by Jeremy himself, where they can learn to become the ultimate closer. And all of this right here, this entire process is just managed within the CRM. So that basically gets us to the end of the video. I thank you for watching till the end. If you're a coach and you want to implement these exact type of systems, I'll have a link below where you can book in for an audit call with me on your business. I will go over your business, see what you can potentially improve to scale your coaching business overall. But apart from that, I thank you for watching till the end. Leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.